I'm Paul Catalina. That's Steven Simcox. This is the Triple Option. Steven's hat brought to you by The Game.
Thank you, The Game.
Yes. So we still have our giveaway going on. So you can go find it on Instagram and Twitter. I'll pin it so that people can see it. But you can. We have a West Virginia hat, an A&M hat, a Bama hat, and an Auburn hat to give away. And to get the Bama and Auburn hat, you have to tell me what you hate most about the other one. If you're a Bama or Auburn fan, to get the A&M hat or the West Virginia hat, you have to play the lifeboat game that we do, Steven, which is you are in a lifeboat. You're injured. So Steven's injured, okay? And you get to pick two of your favorite, we'll say for this exercise, for you to say it, your two favorite horned frogs of all time. One is in the raft with you. One has to hold on to the edge.
Max Duggan's in the raft with me.
Okay.
And then LaDainian Tomlinson's holding on to the edge.
Okay. Wow. Duggan in, LT out. Why?
I mean, it's really just about when I was like, I know about the
happiest you've ever been.
I know about the LT era, but I wasn't like a huge Horned Frog fan at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like I know he's amazing, and obviously went on to have a great career and has been a great ambassador for TCU. But you know,
but Max is
the guy.
He's safe in the boat with you.
Yeah, he's him.
He's the one who's tending to your injuries and
LT's so strong, like he's going to get us to shore, like no problem.
Yeah, he's just going to hold and kick.
Yeah.
Or maybe pull it. Maybe you just pull it.
Yeah.
Tie it around his waist and go. Just swim. Yeah, okay.
So we're set. We're good.
Okay. Good deal. All right. Yeah.
I'm just going to pray inside the boat. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And I did this with Florida State. Garrett did it with LSU. You know, I could do it with anything. I could do it with the Red Sox. You know, big poppies in the raft. Kevin Millar's in the water. You know, I don't know if Kevin Millar's number 2, but Big Poppy's number 1, or maybe like everybody else can just, you know,
we're saving Big Poppy. That's all we need.
I don't know if I can put Mookie in there anymore.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to? Maybe not until he retires.
I mean, it wasn't his fault.
No.
But it still hurts. I know it still hurts.
Every day. Every day.
It's like watching Luka last night. It's not his fault he's wearing that jersey, but...
No. I mean...
I still hate him now. I don't hate him, but...
It won't make sense to you.
No, it doesn't make sense to me.
Then there's a chance that he's going to be on a third team next year.
Right.
Now I would think he probably winds up back with the Lakers.
I would think so too. But there's an opportunity.
But say he just doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe he just doesn't like the vibe.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
maybe he's a Celtic or something.
Yeah. I mean, he could be he could be anywhere. He could be 29 or I guess 28 other places because he's not a Laker. We know he's not coming back to Dallas.
No, probably not.
Unless the team gets sold and
unless they're like if you put Nico Harrison in jail, I'll sign back. If you frame him for a crime, I'll sign back with you.
Here's the deal. Congress, for whatever reason, is about to reopen the Kennedy assassination investigation. That happened not too far away.
Yeah.
Like they could maybe get Nico pinned on, even though I know he wasn't alive then.
But, it seems like a good time well spent, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I watched a press conference the other day and the lady was up there, moron congresswoman, and she's like, we're going to talk to people on the Warren Commission. You're like, well, they've all been dead since 2012. So I don't know how you're going to do that.
She didn't see the Ouija board she had. You're just assuming.
Yeah. We're going to talk to we're
going to conjure.
We're going to talk to on-scene witnesses. They're all 98 years old. I mean, you have all the information there. Just release what the Warren Commission didn't. We're going to find out what really happened. Okay. I mean, you know.
I think we know what happened, guys.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. But so, Steven, you sent me this graphic today, and it is of player evaluations around via Sports Grid of top NIL college football earners. Mm-hmm. So number one is Arch Manning at $6.5 million.
Good. His family needs it.
And I think these are all estimates because we don't know.
They're all estimates.
They're all estimates. Number two is Carson Beck at $4.2 million. Number three, I'm not sure who that is by looking at them. Is it Jeremiah Smith? Is that
that's Jeremiah. Yeah,
that's Jeremiah Smith. Because there's another Ohio State player down here. I think that's Caleb Downs.
Yes.
And DJ Lagway, Lenora Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, Drew Aller,
Nico
Amaliava, Sam Levitt, $3 million. Good job for you, Sam. And then Darian Mensah. There's John Mateer getting a good little chunk of change. Is that Ryan Williams? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then Josh Hoover. Yeah. Josh Hoover, Caleb Downs. Don't get me to Lion.
Yeah, I don't know about NC State and Arkansas.
NC State and Arkansas. Well, that's probably Taylon Green for Arkansas.
Yeah.
Dylan Raiola, Jackson Arnold. I want to say that's Singleton. Mm-hmm. And then that's Dylan Stewart. I know that. I met him. Our boys on the list, Garrett. We interviewed Dylan Stewart at the Super Bowl. And it was one of his first interviews ever. I could have told you that without them telling me that.
Was he not talkative or was he too talkative?
Not talkative.
Okay.
Not talkative. It was, when he just sat down, it's really bright in that room. And it's like.
Yeah. Where am I looking? What am I doing?
Yeah. I'm here. I'm supposed to talk about pork rinds. I've got, which he was. He was there to talk about pork rinds. So, I'm hoping to get some free pork rinds here soon. Garrett and I threw down. Something, you're either a pork rinds guy or you're not. Yeah. Then Garrett and I, pork rinds guys.
I would have to say I'm not a pork rinds guy. I'm sorry. Yeah. The crazy thing to me about this,
life will test you. It will turn your world upside down. Again. And again. And again. The only way to hit back is to stand up. Stand up every time and say, I'm not done.
It dovetails here with Avery Johnson and Baron Morton, but there's a weird mix, Paul, of guys who have done some really good things.
Yeah.
And then just people that you're basically banking on potential.
Yeah.
So, it's that weird tension we have with NIL where it's for Josh Hoover's example, $2.5 million. I like Josh Hoover a lot, but I was saying this on my podcast today. I was like, nobody wants these numbers or should want these numbers to be a secret more than the players.
Yeah.
Because Josh Hoover had a nice year and they ended up 9-4 and he did some good things, but suddenly you're telling me this dude's making, and this is not what they're saying. It's an estimate of what they could make. But suddenly you're telling me this guy's making multi-million-dollar deals. Well, then I have a totally different expectation for this player, Paul.
Yeah.
And for such a long time in college football, a lot of the pressure has been on the coaches. If the team's bad, the coach is going to get fired. The coach is the one that has to talk to the media. But if these dudes are getting paid like this, then I think there's a responsibility that comes with that of if you're not performing suddenly, you're gonna take some heat.
Now, here's the thing about Arch Manning that makes him a little bit of an outlier in this. Because he's a Manning, there is money that he's making that's name, image, and likeness, legitimately name, image, and likeness. It's not about
it's not slush fund, yeah.
It's not about the paying him for performance, paying for it is we want to be in the Manning business. And this is honestly, if you want to be in the Manning endorsement business, the cheapest way in the door is right now Arch. Mm-hmm. Maybe you get some of Peyton's kids. Eli's got daughters. Maybe you could get a deal with them for less, but I don't know how people know them as much. But
that's probably not moving. Yeah, it's probably not moving product.
Probably not moving the product as much. But so Arch Manning, that's why in all these NIL things, I kind of take him out a little bit because he's an outlier. When he was getting recruited, I thought it was really unfair for people to go like, oh, he's just going to Texas because they're giving him the most money. Like, dude, no, he's going to get money wherever he goes.
Sure, yeah.
Like he's one of the few guys in the world who, when he's 17 years old, could legitimately pick the school he wanted to and know that the money's going to be the same everywhere. You know, I know it's going to be this much from the collective, and I already know that, you know, these 4 companies are going to want to do deals with me for my actual name, image, and likeness for me to promote their product.
Right.
Like that's it. And so and Arch has been nothing but humble and like the best teammate this whole time. So I think to me, he's a little bit an outlier. Now, Carson Beck, who's number 2, to me, he's your like actual number 1 because I don't know like what commercial appeal he has.
I mean, he's dating a Cavendish sister now, so I guess that's...
Well, yes, but even still...
But that had anything to do with him, you know?
I mean, if you just saw his picture in a magazine with those cold, dead eyes smiling, telling you to drink a sports drink, you'd be like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, in Miami they're kind of the quintessential, like... Yeah. They're just trying to build a roster. I mean, they're just trying to pay the most and build a roster. And that's fine. Yeah. There's nothing against that. But in Carson Beck's case, it's not like they went out. I guess you could say they went and got the best QB on the market. But it's not like they were saying, hey, let's go get the best quarterback in college football. It was just, okay, this guy's available. He could be an upgrade. He can make us better. We're going to have to pay the market price.
Well, look, and here's the thing. Without Carson Beck, without that happening, had he decided to go to the NFL, then Miami is screwed. Because at that point, they don't know who the quarterback's going to be. They're going to have to hope and pray for the spring window for somebody to be there. Otherwise, they're cooked. Now, they've done really well recruiting a lot of other positions. But Mario Cristobal has a little bit of that less miles in him when it comes to, you know what, you want to get some good offensive linemen? Mario. You good running backs? Mario. Good secondary? Not so much. And, you want a good quarterback? Well, somebody else can do that, and then the guy who's not Mario can pay the guy like Cam Ward, because otherwise, without Cam Ward, Miami is no better this year than they were a year ago. No better. They don't get Damian Martinez without Cam Ward. They don't get some of their other transfers without Cam Ward. So they're about in the same spot as they were a year ago when Tyler Van Dyke started out the year as the quarterback and they rolled through. So if they don't get him, they're screwed. If they don't get Carson Beck, again, they're kind of screwed. Like that's... And especially now that, you see how well Florida's doing in recruiting because of the guy who's number 4 in this list and DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway, if you're a wide receiver, running back, an offensive lineman, and you want to transfer to a school in the SEC, right now you can look at Florida as Florida and Texas as schools in the SEC. They're like, well, I know who the quarterback's going to be for sure, and I'm going to play with them. Oklahoma, yes, but Oklahoma's got other things.
Issues, yeah.
Florida finished the year strong. Lagway is a stud, and you have all this going for you. So you can rope in and get a lot of transfers. Texas only brought in a couple of transfers. And part of that was because they played so late. They weren't so much in the game for a lot of those guys. I would see maybe them picking up some of the spring window, but also it's sink or swim time with some of those guys who are going to be sophomores and juniors that haven't played yet because they've been so deep. So, but with Florida, you're going to get some of the good recruiting classes that Billy Napier apparently had early on, and now you've got guys wanting to play with DJ. So I don't know who's coming to play with Carson Beck, but I do think that there were players who didn't leave because Carson Beck was there. I don't think he's as much of a magnet as other people would be, like a DJ Lagway or Lenora Sellers right now, who's right behind him on the list. But he is a stability person of, well, now you don't have to go find, this guy's one of the better guys in the country.
Well, and at QB, it's kind of like what we talk about in the NFL, where there's guys every year that either they have to be franchised, come up with that decision of, do you franchise tag them? Do you sign them to extension? And maybe they're not elite, however you want to term that, but it's so hard to find people that are competent at that spot that if you want to keep them around, you have to pay the market price. And so it's a tough balancing act for schools and for I guess now a lot of these general managers, across the country, they're trying to figure this out to build a good roster, but also have somebody behind center who can make plays. And he's more than likely going to be one of the highest paid players, not the highest paid player on the team. They're just in a big time position of power. Like you talked about with Carson Beck, if he doesn't show up in Miami, they're screwed. There's a number of schools where it's like, maybe you're not in love with your starting quarterback, but if they leave tomorrow, what's your option? Do you have a young guy who's ready to play? Or are you going to go get somebody else in the portal? There's just a scarcity of dudes who can play that position.
Yeah, and I think Georgia and Carson Beck had kind of taken each other as far as they were going to do it.
Right.
I'm not trying to come down on Carson Beck for this. Like he actually played well towards the end of the year, but I think he wanted to change of scenery, and that's why he wasn't going to come back to Georgia.
Right.
I think Georgia may have had him back if he wanted that, but Kirby Smart's, he's the best modern coach for a reason right now, because he's not a guy who's going to like, oh, you don't want to be here? That's fine. Like, just go ahead. Let's not get in our feelings about everything. Let's just call it what it is and move on. And so he's done. So he'll be fine. But you look on the list, like Garrett Nussmeier certainly has earned. The whole second row, I think, has earned enough. Nico Maliava got his team to the playoff this year, and that was his first year as the starter. So just going to go up and up and up. Darian Mensah's on potential. John Mateer is really good. I think that's he's maybe a level above that in my opinion. Ryan Williams clearly proved it, but then you get into this part of the list of the Josh Hoovers of the world and all that, and I'm just not sure.
Well, and it's like I said earlier, the expectations change in a big way. I mean, even a guy like Avery Johnson, who was a huge name, and I know K-State fans were super excited about him. I'm sure they still are, but Will Howard leaves. He does great things at Ohio State. That was a lot to do with the roster he had around him, but Avery kind of struggled, and so it does put that unwanted pressure on them of when do you step up and start earning, some of this so-called cash that you're getting. And I just wonder how much it leads into like donor fatigue, because if you're going to pony up and make commitments like that, then you do expect, you expect results. And I don't think it just means you expect to play in like the Champ Sports Bowl or something like that. Like you expect to be in the playoffs and you expect to win conference titles.
Look, if you have anybody that's on this list at all, any of these 25 play, and here's the thing, Auburn right now has about $6 million almost committed to 3 guys, and one of them is the backup quarterback right now in Deuce Knight.
Yeah.
So and then they have Cam Coleman and Jackson Arnold. So between the 2 quarterbacks, they've got a lot of money committed, and Jackson Arnold hasn't really done anything to earn that kind of number. Like there's a lot of hopium right now on the Plains. That's one of the things that jumped out at me is that Auburn's on here. Ohio State's on here twice. Texas is only on here once. South Carolina's on here twice. And it's the highest paid offensive and defensive player for both the other teams that are on here twice. I guess Penn State's on here twice. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. And then you've got Auburn, a team that's 5-7 last year, and 5-7 the year 4-8 the year before, whatever it was. At 3 guys on this list, that's desperation right there.
That is,
and one of them is not good. Like either Deuce Knight or Jackson Arnold is not going to play.
Right.
Like if Deuce Knight beats out Jackson Arnold, you paid all that money to get Jackson Arnold for nothing. Now, your ideal scenario is that Jackson Arnold plays and plays well, and Deuce Knight stays and develops and then becomes your quarterback in the future. But if that doesn't happen, then that's sunk cost.
Exactly. And that's the challenging thing, too, is if you're going to give, high school players these huge payouts. I mean, we kind of saw it with – and I know Micah Hudson's got a lot of other things going on, but, like, Texas Tech, they really committed to him. I get it. He was a 5-star plus recruit, but then he's there 1 year and he's gone. And so it's just this huge sunk cost that you said that you're, pouring money into something that you're not guaranteed to even see on the field. That's a huge risk. And you wonder how much longer people will put up with things like that. But yeah, in Auburn's case, I mean, they're making a huge commitment and they're not really seeing the dividends of it yet. Now they have this season to bounce back, but Hugh Freeze has to be under a ton of pressure to get this right and get these guys playing well because the donors are holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah. I got to find out who this NC State player is. I feel I'm going to know it. It's not CJ Bailey, is it?
NC State's another team. CJ Bailey.
CJ Bailey. Okay.
Yeah, and they're another team on this list that they're only here once, but I mean they're trying to become a force in the ACC, and they're facing an uphill battle with Clemson and some other schools that have been there for a while. But in Bailey's case, they're at least attempting to make that financial commitment to have players.
I mean that's a lot of money for a guy. Again, there's a lot of unproven money on this list.
Yeah,
CJ Bailey's part of it. Jackson Arnold's part of it. Heck, Baron Morton and Avery Johnson have proven more than Jackson Arnold has. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say by a long shot, and they're making slightly less than him. There's a lot of potential, there. And look, I hope for Jackson Arnold's sake that he earns every penny of that. Like he's worth it. Don't wish ill on him at all, but I think Auburn made if Hugh Freeze was a good hire, it would have started to pay off by now. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I don't think it's paying off. Garrett, just give me a nod. Do you agree with the statement? If Hugh Freeze was a good hire, it would start to have looked like it's paid off by now.
By now, you would have seen some dividends.
Yeah, they haven't he's been there for 2 years and it's been the same. Mm-hmm. So I don't know
does he have one signature win at all? Not really, right?
No. He's got a couple. I guess that A&M win this year. That one, that was his signature win. That was, maybe they could be, mm-hmm. But also that historically, that gives them too much credit and doesn't give the curse that is the Aggies.
I know. Yeah, enough.
Everything's going well. Things are going well, guys. everything's coming up roses. All we have to do is beat this team that's not going to a bowl game, and we're going to be positioned well. All right, let's go.
Who cut the brakes?
Hullabaloo, connect, hullabaloo, connect. Oh, crap. Oh, no. What happened? We beat LSU by so much. Why is this going on? We were supposed to send a message. Yeah, no, that's how it is. That's an Aggie fan's whole life.
Yep.
Is getting to that point of okay.
All right.
There we go. I see what you're doing.
Let's book our tickets to the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah. Just got to get through Auburn and South Carolina. And
easy money.
Yeah. With the South Carolina, we've been beating them every year. Oh, great. Womp. Womp. Oh, look. It's the SEC. South Carolina's having
on the road
in their bag.
Night game.
Bryce is a thing, but man, Hugh Freeze is a joke. Man, he's just a joke. Everything's gonna be fine. We'll be drowning yell leaders in no time. Yeah, it'll be great. Oh, let's do it. Oh, hey, that guy that they outbid us for, is wide receiver. We can't cover him. Hell, I wish he was here. Who knew? All right, well, just got to beat Texas. Beat Texas, we're in the SEC title game. Womp, womp. Mm-hmm. Just how it goes.
It is.
If there's a college football program that, Streaker Sports is one of our new sponsors, and you'll see them tomorrow. They sell a lot of, Peanuts gear. If Charlie Brown played for any college football team, it would definitely be the Aggies. They're the team that gets right up close to it, and
football's going away.
Now I'll tell you, the flashier version of that though, without quite as much history of getting right up to next to the door, face against the glass, is Oregon. Oregon is very much hippie Texas A&M.
Yeah, I like this take. Oregon is just Texas A&M with neon uniforms. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got fancy uniforms. They've got all this. Their record better, obviously. But when it comes – great atmosphere, great fans, passionate, love what they do. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the moment, they're going to trip over it, They're gonna find a way. You know, this year, best team in the country all year long. Beat Ohio State in the regular season. Ohio State rallies from being embarrassed and then just blows them out.
Yeah. Blew the doors off. Yeah.
And look, Ohio State, get all the way to the national championship game. Got the Heisman Trophy winner, Marcus Mariota. Man, you're high flying. Ohio State's on their third flipping quarterback. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter because Zeke Elliott's there, and they're just going to give the ball to Zeke, and Cardale Jones is there. No, you tell me that's not a little bit cursed.
That's good.
I had to ride up on the elevator with Chip Kelly after halftime. That was weird because he had left and he came he came back specifically for this game. And he was just mad at Helfrich. He thought Helfrich was doing everything wrong. And he knew he was on the elevator with media people. And so he was trying to not, say anything. But Chip was just too mad. And he's just well, they're not doing this. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. So, yeah, it's a weird night. A weird, weird night. I'll also tell you, the best part about that night for me was in the first half, I sat next to this dude who was dying of irritable bowel syndrome. I mean, seriously, it was bad. It was pungent over there. Oof. Then he left. He had to go home. He couldn't take it anymore. And then this really nice girl sat next to me for the rest of the time. I was like, what did I do to deserve this?
All right.
Great. All right. Hey, man. Thanks. That was one of the ones you pray, can this guy just go? And then God's like, you know what? It's really, you didn't do anything to deserve that. Let me just, it's not going to mean anything, but for the next 2 hours, I'm going to make up for that little oversight.
Throw you a bone.
So sorry about that, buddy. We'll get the paperwork done better next time. Coming up next, it's